Chapter 5. The Man Who Resisted. Once more the sturdy almond tree had covered itself with a sheet of snowy white blossoms, and once more the caressing breeze of spring had wooed each blossom and allured it from its resting place. One by one they had launched out from the parent stalk and floated in a zigzag course to the ground. Unconsciously, the unfoldment of life goes on from one stage to another, and now the almond tree, which only a short time ago stood a silver mass of loveliness under the sapphire dome of the heavens, caught a mellow tint of autumn, and again the ever-active, ceaseless progress of life allured, one by one, the yellow leaves from the tree. Out over the land, autumn had painted with a lavish hand, here a dash of deep purple, and there a bank of gold. The distant foothills rose like tongues of flame against the deep blue of the sky. Here and there a deep green tree which had not yet been nipped by the frost, and again in the distance could be seen the delicately etched limbs of trees already bare. There was a mellowness in the air, a dreamy wistfulness that caused one to sit and wonder, to sit and dream. And it was on this day that Abdullah sat pondering and dreaming over the wonders of life. I'd just like to take another moment and just appreciate how beautiful this chapter is. It's just Walter's writing is really beautiful. I appreciate you, Walter. Carrying on with the chapter. At length he resumed his work. "Come hither, Jethro," he called to the boy. "Bring your harp, for I would that you sing to me. Sing and play to me, that I may catch some of this mystic beauty of the autumn into my vase, that in years to come someone gazing on it may take hope again." "What is hope?" said Jethro, for he was fond of hearing Abdullah explain the abstract. "Hope," said Ab, "is the red bird singing of spring on the bleak February bough. It is the spark of light which the traveller sees at the other end of the slough of despond. It is the early spring lily peeping through the snow. But I would listen to thee a while. What will you sing to me?" So Jethro, taking his harp, began. "The wheel of the potter turns round and round, shaping his various wares, some to hold water, and some to hold wine, and some to hold flowers fair. Into each vessel the potter will mould a big thought of usefulness, and thus will the thought of the potter live and ever wait to bless. God is the potter and man is the clay. He works out infinite plan. Each idea has a mission to fill, for each is a perfect man." At this point in his song, Jethro was interrupted by the loud calling of a voice at the gate. Laying aside his harp, he ran across the court and gazed out. "It is Hassan and his mule," he called back to Abdullah, "coming over the hill. He is staggering, drunk on new wine." "Poor Hassan," said Abdullah. "He is the man who resisted." "Resisted?" said Jethro. "What do you mean, Father Abdullah? Is he not at this moment in the power of his worst enemy, wine? And has he not repeatedly fought against it with no avail? Yes, said Ab, and in constantly resisting the temptation to drink, has he not made it something real, a personal devil which has absolute power over him? Do not the sacred scrolls teach, resist not? Man is superior to matter and its laws, for he is image and likeness. He is not bidden to obey every whim of the mortal senses. He has been given dominion and sonship. God is the law. And did not Christ Jesus come to fulfill the law? Not the laws. And the law that he came to fulfill was the law of dominion. And did he not say, "The works that I do, ye shall do also, and even greater"? Remember the story of Jacob, how he struggled, resisted, all night in ignorance, and that when the morning light came, truth and light, he loosed the lie, stopped resisting it, and let it go. Is it not worthwhile to note that Jacob let it go? That which he had resisted and struggled with all night and which had caused him to suffer, he merely had to let go. So it is with all material law. We hold to it. It cannot cling to us, for there is nothing to support it. And when I see a man struggling with a belief of sin or sickness, I am reminded of a child holding a wild animal with one hand and fighting it with the other, and then crying because it hurts him instead of letting go of it. In the case of Jacob, we know not what the problem was, but suppose it was the temptation to drink that was causing him to resist and fight all night. And suddenly it dawned upon his consciousness, "Ye do not need to fight. Set yourself. See the salvation of the Lord. The battle is not yours, but God's." And then the whispered password, which will lead you safely through all evil. Speak as one having authority, dominion over all things. Would he, do you suppose, keep on fighting his temptation? Rather, would he not suddenly find himself superior to the whole situation? If you resist a thing, you fear it. And if you fear it, you must endow it with power to hurt you. For who would resist anything that he was not afraid of? We are not afraid of so-called powerless things. Meet every problem that comes to you as its master, knowing that God is working with you and that to be of one mind with him is to be in the majority. For God is all powerful. The Hebrew children knew what it meant to be at one with God and obeyed his law instead of the laws of matter, with a result that the flames which consumed others left them untouched. It only took a pebble, that is, right thought, to slay Goliath, who had become terrible and real through material thinking and reasoning and through resisting. Human willpower is the blind force which resists things, sometimes with seeming success, but this only for a season. The great keynote to all right work is the attitude that I can of mine own self do nothing, but with God all things are possible. At one bound, we shift the responsibility of the situation on God, and He is abundantly able and equipped to put the enemy to flight. We do not struggle with the darkness in a room to get it out. We merely bring in the light, and the darkness disappears of its own self. Likewise with sin or sickness or any material law. We do not need to fight it. We merely have to bring in the absolute truth that because man is made in the image and likeness of God, he is eternally protected and cared for. That is the end of chapter 5.